Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brit. And this is our Super Bowl pregame show. Are you laughing because somebody's already at you in the comments?
Yeah, just put that on like straight away. Literally, we start and
I was just about to comment, but there was only 3 seconds left of the intro.
Just look at that. Dak still blows straight away. He's not even in the Super Bowl, and we're still talking about him. But just because the Cowboys live rent free in your mind, bringing the smoke. That's,
don't worry, he lets me have it on the playlist sometimes for my musical choices. So you're not the only one. He is an equal opportunity, let you have it type of dude.
Okay, that sounds good.
I always forget this, but everybody, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button because now you have Justin Jefferson and Micah Parsons telling you to do it. So you got to do it.
That way. This one. Right here. There we go. We'll get better at that. Next season, we got this down.
And with those two on there, that'll lead up to something we're talking about later on, and it'll be NFL awards and what we feel about things that happen with these two at the NFL awards.
Yeah, do you reckon that I might be a bit bitter about one of the particular awards? I'm not too bitter about that one.
As they would say on The Wire, Mike could be.
That could be. All right, but it's Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl weekend. It's the end of another amazing season, and I'm back in the UK now, which means I get to stay up until 5 a.m. to watch it.
Which you're pretty used to the time, I'm betting, so it won't be that rough
yeah, it's not too
tonight,
bad.
Right?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It'll feel like midnight, which is good. But then I have to wake up at 8 a.m. to go to work. Anyway, doesn't matter.
That's where the rough part comes in. If you didn't have to get up in the morning, you could still be like, I'm on Colombian time because I've only been home for a day.
Yeah, I think I might just play that card at work, to be honest. Just be like, hey, guys, I need a nap because of jet lag. Just letting you know. We'll see.
All right. Hopefully they're not watching. Before we start, though, you sent me something over. So we're going to let Linus pick the Super Bowl winner. Are you ready for this?
Yes. Let's go, Chiefs.
Well, we'll find out if you and I agree with Linus later in the show. But I will tell you, Shug's busy for the Super Bowl, but he did want it to be known, the Chiefs by less than 3.
Chiefs by less than 3. Wow, we're going to be in for a good time. That's exciting. It was Chiefs by less than 3.
And Linus has already got a fan. So, Maddie, we're going to talk about some NFL awards. You want to start there?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, where you want to start? You want to start with Walter Payton Man of the Year or MVP?
Well, let's start with Walter Payton Man of the Year and just say that I obviously Dak Prescott, his play this year, not up to his best standards, but as a guy, like, the dude does so much in the community. He's clearly such a stand-up leader, like a real role model for people around with all the issues with his brother a couple of years ago and stuff like that as well. He's an amazing dude.
I have no problem with the Man of the Year award ever. Granted, I think it should have went to Adam Thielen, but that has nothing to do with who earned it. It's just because he's a Viking.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just, you're going to support the guys in your team, but I never have a problem with the Walter Payton Man of the Year. Everybody that's nominated for that deserves it.
I don't know as much as Dak does as I know Thielen does because I'm a fan, so all the Viking stuff comes into my feed. I don't see all the Cowboy stuff. So I'm sure every team or fan of every team reads and goes, well, our guy should win it. But this is one of those awards you can't argue. They're all in the community doing wonderful shit. So keep doing it, and salute to all of you.
Yeah, and it's one of those awards where every single person deserves it. So it doesn't really matter which place it goes. I feel like Dak Prescott is a great role model for anybody to follow. So definitely worth going to him.
All right. So then let's just go. I'll go backwards on the list I have, if you're cool with that, up to MVP. So we'll go with Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think they got this right. Sauce Gardner's my guy. I think that was a perfect pick for Defensive Player of the Year. And I thought they might not give it to him because he's a corner.
Okay, so I like Sauce Gardner is defensive rookie of the year. Played incredibly well.
Rookie of the year. My bad.
Defensive rookie of the year. Played incredibly well. Shown himself as a lockdown corner. I think it was an 87 PFF grade. But I think it should have gone to somebody else. Basically, for all of these awards, apart from one, I've got somebody else who I would give it to, with also agreeing that I'm not too bitter about it going to the other person.
And the only reason he's not telling you is because once we tell you go through these, what we're giving, we're going to give you who our award should have been.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't have told you Sauce was my guy.
Yeah,
but,
So I've got somebody else, but Sauce Gardner definitely deserves it as well. Like a great player, had a great season, and he's going to be in this league for a very, very long time to go. Also, I find it interesting that you think a corner wouldn't necessarily win this. So could have been Aiden Hutchinson, I'm guessing, would have been the defensive end who you would have gone for, who has the same amount of picks as Sauce Gardner, by the way, just putting that out there. But
I like Aiden Hutchinson. I don't love Aiden Hutchinson, so that would have been a problem for me. It's nothing against the kid. I think he is going to be really, really good for 10 years. I just don't think he's ever going to be great.
Yeah, which is where Sauce Gardner could be one of the best corners that the league has seen with the way that he started.
If Aiden Hutchinson would drafted 15th or 17th, he would have less expectation than drafted number 1 overall. So I'm guilty as everybody else. I put expectations to your draft stock sometimes.
Yeah. And I mean, he was drafted second overall, but proved that he should have been drafted first overall, which is definitely right. In my book, I always thought it was right. But I'm going for I'm not going for Aiden Hutchinson either. I've got somebody else. I think the way that the league is shaped now, that cornerback might actually be the most, or possibly is definitely more valuable than it's ever been before.
I'm making Shug happy here.
There you go. But yeah, it's definitely the cornerback position is definitely more valuable than it's ever been before. So I think given the most valuable player on a defense, considering it's a passing league, if the most valuable player on offense is going to be the wide receiver this year, then I think that's totally legit.
No, I like it. Offensive rookie of the year, Garrett Wilson, thought he played great. I'll just say we'll wait till our awards. I may have somebody different for that one.
Yeah, I also have somebody different for that one as well. Garrett Wilson is going to be a great wide receiver, and to put up the numbers that he put up with the quarterback situation at the Jets this year is incredibly impressive. I think the fact that the Jets didn't make it over the line has had a bit of an issue, given me a bit of an issue with the fact that they have 2 players on offensive rookie and defensive rookie of the year. But it shows how well they're building that franchise up. They're a quarterback away, the Jets, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they'll make a move for a veteran. I really do. But if they don't get Aaron Rodgers or like a Derek Carr, I'm not sure Jimmy G's the guy who can take them over the top. Like, he's just very consistent. And I feel like they kind of need a playmaker to go along with that defense.
Yeah, it depends where over the top is for the Jets. So if over the top is the playoffs, then Jimmy G is fine.
Yes.
That's okay. That's totally fine. They'll make the playoffs with Jimmy G with that stout defense, great offensive line. They have weapons. They need to get Elijah Moore in the game. That dude is a gadget weapon. Goes all over the place because he's a playmaker. Garrett Wilson is stable, does everything right, gets you yards. Elijah Moore is a weapon, like a playmaking weapon, and those two on the same field is going to go really, really well. So if you have Elijah Moore in there, then definitely Jimmy G can get you over the top. Plus, Breece Hall will be coming back. He's your playmaker on offense. Breece Hall probably would have been the offensive player of the year if he didn't do his leg in.
Yeah, and rookies have it. That's one award that running backs have a real shot at in the NFL is the rookie of the year. Comeback player of the year was Geno Smith. okay, I'll save this now and tell you who I think it should be. I have a real problem with Geno Smith winning this one because I think you have to be good at some point before you can be comeback player of the year. And Geno, this is the only year he's ever been good.
Yeah, it's for me, comeback player of the year. Yeah, comeback. Yeah, exactly. Comeback player of the year isn't coming back from being trash. Comeback player of the year is coming back from injury or from a difficult circumstance or something like that.
Or being on a shitty team with a rough season and then you come back and you blow it out, but you were good before. We'll get to that with my pick. I'm guessing you probably have somebody else for that too.
Yeah, I have somebody else as well.
All right. Assistant coach of the year. Weird award because I don't know how you choose this, like who's in the room with all these guys, but I can't argue with the guy they gave it to in D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, I think that's fair. D'Amico Ryans, like the number one defense in the league. Obviously, Dan Quinn could come in there and take that as well. But D'Amico Ryans, best defense in the league, so that's totally fine with me. I'm trying to think who else I would have given it to. So Dan Quinn, D'Amico Ryans,
Kafka.
Yeah, Kafka. That's a good one. Yeah, that's.
I don't have many though. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, because the way that the league's shaped now, there's so many attacking coaches in the league, and the defensive coaches. So we've picked all defensive guys there, apart from Kafka. No, is Kafka defense?
No, he's an offensive guy. He was with the Giants, but it's like even in Minnesota, like if you want to say, oh, their offense was amazing compared to what it was, you can't give it to Wes Phillips because he doesn't call any of the plays.
Yeah, head coach. You can't call Eric Bieniemy because it's Andy Reid.
Right, right. Like it's a rough one though, because there's a lot of assistants that even people who follow football aren't going to know the linebackers coach on half the teams.
Yeah, exactly. And if you, I believe that assistant coach shouldn't really be going to coordinators. Like personally, I think if you want to give this award out and want to make it more. Yeah, or if you want to make it more
of a coach for the Steelers, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you want to give it more of a shout out award, it needs to be somebody who isn't the coordinator, right? It has to be somebody below that. But I don't know enough of the coaching staffs in the league to do that. I don't even know the Cowboys coaching staff that well.
Oh shit, Freezes, Hussein Christ in the house. What's up, my guy? Who you got, Freezes? Kansas City or the Eagles? Make sure you guys tap into Winging It every Wednesday too, and Turf Tales every Friday at Overtime Hustling on YouTube and the playlist with me and Payne Gusto. But Coach of the Year, Brian Daboll, I will save my retort until it's our time.
Okay, I think that's fair. I agree with more of these ones than I thought I did.
I don't have a problem with Brian Daboll. I would just throw another name out there when we get to it.
Yeah, there's definitely more names that are available in there. That's fine. Like oh my god, I'm blanking all day today. I'm sorry guys, I was on a flight all day yesterday, so that's my excuse. But Sirianni, there we go. Fucking hell, that took so long. He's only one of the coaches in the Super Bowl, right? But the Nick Sirianni, like it could be in there. Like that's the kind of guy you could go for. But I think Brian Daboll if you make Daniel Jones look good, and your leaving makes Josh Allen look worse, then I feel like Coach of the Year, you could probably just like wrap that up.
All right. Well, Defensive Player of the Year, Maddie's going to be in his feelings. I won't even comment because we'll get to when we pick, but it's Nick Bosa. The only thing I'll say is you can go a ton of different ways, but I don't know how you're mad.
I'm not mad.
Not you. I'm saying in the thing, you can feel it should have went somewhere else, but how can you be mad over Nick Bosa?
I'm not mad at Nick Bosa, but I think everybody knows who I'm going to pick as Defensive Player of the Year. So we're just going to say it. Micah Parsons. Not mad at Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa has the most sacks, which I believe is an overrated stat. But anyway, sacks depend on so much. Their defense is so much better.
Yeah, he's top 5 in pressures too.
Yeah. So that's fine. That's where I was just about to go. I was like, Nick Bosa is top in sacks, but also top 5 in pressure. So that's fine. He also beats his man on a high percentage of occasions. Look, dude's a dog.
And he's not a whiny bitch like his brother.
Yeah. Yeah. And any team which has Nick Bosa on it is made immediately better because of Nick Bosa's presence on it, obviously. Micah Parsons didn't get a single vote.
No, he didn't.
What?
And we'll get there, but I don't want to forget the medical dude who worked on DeMar Hamlin got a couple votes for MVP, which I thought was awesome.
That's nice. That's really nice. But Micah Parsons didn't get a single vote for Defensive Player of the Year, which is
Yeah, the best he got was second.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Anyway, sorry.
All right, next. No worries. Defensive Player of the Year was Nick Bosa. So Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson. I think it's a good pick. My only issue is I think that fucker should be MVP, but we can get into that.
Yeah, I think the Offensive Player of the Year and the MVP is an interesting debate, isn't it? Because surely if you're MVP and you're on the offense, then you've got to be the offensive.
Yeah, it's almost like the Offensive Player of the Year is runner up to MVP.
Yeah, right. And it's like, but no, it's not even that. So Patrick Mahomes had more effect on his team winning than Justin Jefferson. Yeah, he does. That's what the quarterback does.
Kirk Cousins makes the playoffs with 11 wins on the Chiefs. Without Justin Jefferson, they win maybe 5 games with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I just don't think you could. The way if you look at the Chiefs' offense right now, like if you actually look at their wide receiver room, it isn't stacked. Like it's not that great. It's good. Like don't get me wrong. It's not like it's bum, but it's mid. It's middle of the NFL route, right? And Patrick Mahomes has got all the way there. All that being said, Justin Jefferson is an incredible weapon. Absolutely unbelievable and played so well. And if Offensive Player of the Year is Offensive Player who's not a quarterback of the year, which is what it's going to be, that's what it looks like it is. It's more if you're not a quarterback, this will be your reward for MVP if you're on the offense, right? Then Justin Jefferson deserves it.
Okay, so if you take Justin Jefferson off the Vikings and Kirk Cousins, you put Patrick Mahomes on the Vikings with no defense, do you think they win 13 games?
If you take Justin Jefferson as well.
Take Cousins and Jefferson off, put Mahomes in that offense, and do you think they win 13 games?
I think it makes it quite comparable to I think it makes it quite comparable to the Chiefs, apart from the lack of defense. So no, I don't think they win 13 games. It's probably around the same.
So Justin Jefferson,
it's probably around 11.
Justin Jefferson with the greatest catch in NFL history and led the team to 13, broke every record in the first 3 years you can break except for most yards in a season, which he was 9 yards short or 29 yards short. I mean, this kid's only been in the league 3 years. I think the Vikings are, like an 8-win team without him at best.
Yeah, I do love Justin Jefferson, but also if you take Patrick Mahomes off the Chiefs, then
if you put Kirk Cousins on there, I still think they make the playoffs.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. You don't make the playoffs with 13, though, do you? Like, how many wins do you reckon they get with Kirk Cousins on there?
10, 11.
10, 11.
So
it's potato. Like,
so Justin Jefferson puts the Vikings over the top. To me, it's most valuable player. Who's the most valuable to their team? And I would say Justin Jefferson is more valuable to the Vikings than Patrick Mahomes.
I think if you put Patrick Mahomes on the Vikings, they'd probably be a 10, 11 win team still.
Right. So they won 13 with Justin Jefferson, which my point is.
Right. Okay. I see what you mean.
That's my argument.
I see what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I get you.
We're not going to go Walter Payton player or man of the year because that we'd be stupid to argue that one.
Yeah.
But
I don't know enough about it.
Who you got for defensive rookie of the year then?
So defensive rookie of the year, I do believe that's Sauce Gardner. I understand why he got it. But I'm going to go somewhere a bit different. Corner again. Tyreek Woolen. 6 interceptions on the season off less targets than Sauce Gardner. Only got a 71 PFF rating. He only allowed 4 more receptions than Sauce Gardner, I think, which I think is pretty impressive. Whilst also getting 6 interceptions, which is 4 more than Sauce. And yes, everybody's going to be like, well, yeah, Sauce was targeted less. Not by Sauce was actually targeted more than Tyreek Woolen. Like, if you look at it.
Sauce changed that defense, and he's the heart and soul now, and that's why he's my rookie of the year.
Yeah, Tyreek Woolen though, like Tyreek Woolen came out of nowhere and I just think Sauce Gardner is a better player. I think if you actually put their stats next to each other, most people would pick and took the faces off. I think most people would take Tyreek Woolen.
Well, I got to use my eye test, and my eye test says Sauce Gardner might be the next Darrelle Revis.
No, Sauce Gardner is a better player and will have a better career than Tyreek Woolen. But for their rookie season, Tyreek Woolen put up better stats, played about the same, but also got those interceptions, and interceptions changes games. And his team made the playoffs. Which is like, that's got to be quite a big deal, right? If your team win, like, I know it's not Sauce Gardner's fault that they didn't make the playoffs. But
I was going to say, because if that's the case, then Sauce should go kick Zach Wilson's ass.
Yeah. I know it's not Sauce's fault that they didn't make the playoffs, but Tyreek Woolen's team did make the playoffs. So I think that should give him a bit there as well.
So let's go on to offensive rookie of the year, and I'll start. I do not have Garrett Wilson, and I do not know how Brock Purdy did not win this award.
Interesting. Nice way to go, actually. I think Brock Purdy doesn't win the award because he didn't really play most of the season, which isn't a fair reason to not give someone.
Isn't it like 11 games, though? Like, at what point are we?
If you include the playoffs, though, like it's if you include the playoffs. So this award isn't if you include.
Well, they could say what they want. I don't care if he played 8 games. Brock Purdy balled out and should be offensive player or rookie of the year.
I like the pick. I'm going somewhere else, though. I'm going with Kenneth Walker. Okay. Kenneth Walker rushed for over 1,000 yards. Once again, his team made the playoffs. Nobody was expecting anything from the Seahawks this season. We all thought they were going to be garbage. Let's be real there. And Kenneth Walker was a spark for them. Geno Smith played well. Like, definitely played well. But started to fall off towards the end, and Kenneth Walker played really well all the way through. So I'm taking Kenneth Walker there.
All right. I like it. Well, speaking of Geno Smith, comeback player of the year, like I said, you have to be coming back from something, and Geno has never been good. And so what's he coming back from? To me, and I don't know, maybe you got somebody else, but to me, it's hands down Christian McCaffrey.
I was just about to say, if you said anything else, I would be worried. Christian McCaffrey is hands down the comeback player of the year this year.
All right. Well, we'll skip the DeMeco Ryans assistant coach of the year because we talked about that not a lot.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Brian Daboll as coach of the year, but I think Kevin O'Connell did more with less with that team. So I would give it to Kevin O'Connell, but I'm not mad they gave it to Brian Daboll.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Kevin O'Connell. I really like the pick of Kevin O'Connell. I think the other guy who puts himself in there is Mike McDaniels.
Nick Sirianni, too, I think should be in there.
Nick Sirianni, definitely. I mentioned that before. I think Nick Sirianni's working with – all of those guys are working with a more loaded roster than Brian Daboll, though. And Brian Daboll – you can see Brian Daboll's coaching by Josh Allen's inconsistencies this year and how well Daniel Jones has come on. So I'm going to take Brian Daboll as my coach of the year.
All right. Offensive player of the year. I'm good with Justin Jefferson. You know, my argument was he should be MVP. We already argued that, but I'm okay with Justin Jefferson.
I was trying to find somebody else to give it to that wasn't Justin Jefferson, apart from Pat Mahomes, because I actually quite like that you have the MVP and the offensive player of the year. So I actually, and they're two different things. I do quite like that, but
Jalen Hurts is in the conversation.
Jalen, yeah, you couldn't give Jalen Hurts offensive player of the year if you didn't give him MVP. Would be the issue with that. I think the other guy that you could say, Justin Jefferson, for me, deserves this award if you're not going to take Pat Mahomes. But the other guy you can say is Saquon Barkley. So Saquon Barkley made a huge difference to his team. So the offensive side, and the reason that Kapka couldn't have won it is because his offensive side of the ball didn't play that well outside of Saquon Barkley running the ball and Daniel Jones running the ball. So I think Saquon Barkley makes a massive difference there. He got 1,300 yards rushing, 300 yards passing, but JJ got more of that just passing. So JJ deserves it. Saquon Barkley's name deserves to be thrown into the mix.
And they'll never do this, but another guy that could be in this conversation every year for offensive player of the year, easy for me to say, Trent Williams.
Trent Williams, like it. Yeah, nice call.
They'll never give it to an O lineman, but he could be right up in there.
Well, I nearly put the entire Eagles offensive line was nearly my pick. Like that would have been the pick. That would have been good. Another guy, Travis Kelce, he's never going to get it. They're never going to give it to a tight end, but he got where was it? Third, fourth most receiving yards this year, as well as how he blocks on the other side.
In the playoffs, he is second most receiving, catching, fucking touchdowns, all behind Jerry Rice. Receivers, not just tight ends. He's second most. Like, the dude is amazing, and he gets to play his brother today, which is going to be interesting.
That's exciting.
All right. So this line has been weird for the game, Maddie.
Oh, we haven't discussed. We've got one more award. We've got the most important award.
What?
MVP.
Well, I thought we already argued that. Okay, go ahead.
Are you picking Justin Jefferson for MVP?
I think he should have won it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Okay. Cool. I'm picking Pat Mahomes. I think Pat Mahomes definitely deserves to win. The most valuable position is the quarterback, and the best quarterback in the league this year was Pat Mahomes. So that's where I think it goes. I understand where you're coming from, though, with the Justin Jefferson side.
I would argue the best quarterback in the league this year was Jalen Hurts.
Exactly. That's where I thought you were going to argue with MVP. I didn't expect you to come out and go for
no, because if they're giving it to Hurts or Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes is the face of the NFL, and writers write, and so those guys always get the nod over other guys because the writers are the ones who vote, and they love Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and I think if you look at it as well, Jalen Hurts has. We'll talk about it when we come to the game now, but it's nice that both of those guys are in the Super Bowl as well. Like it shows that both of their teams deserve to be there. But the offensive line is better in Philly. The wide receiver core is better in Philly. The running back room is more experienced in Philly, not necessarily better. The defense is definitely better in Philly. So I think Pat Mahomes making it to the Super Bowl and taking his team to the one seed is a bigger deal.
So Jalen Hurts gets punished because Howie Roseman's a better GM.
Yeah, I know it's unfair. Don't get me wrong.
They always say Patrick Mahomes, dual threat quarterback. Well, kind of, but Jalen Hurts is a true dual threat quarterback. And what he did with his legs this year, on top of the fact that he throws from the pocket and he's not just a guy who runs off. I don't think he's getting the credit he should get. That's all.
No, I agree with you. I think he deserved second place, second best player, second most valuable player in the year. That would be Jalen Hurts for me.
I still think Mahomes got it just because his name's Patrick Mahomes, but that's just me. So this Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl, the spread came out at 1.5. All Eagles minus 1.5. All the monies went to KC, and the line still has not moved, which means Vegas really believes the Eagles are going to win this game.
If you look at them position for position, the Eagles should win this game. Like if you just go down the list, what position are the Chiefs actually better than the Eagles in? I would say quarterback is the only position that they're better in. So what's the other position? I don't know.
Yeah, tight end for the Chiefs.
Oh, tight end. There you go.
Tight end.
What? Okay, so quarterback and tight end. That's where they went. So I understand why people are going there. But the one thing that the Chiefs have got over the Eagles, most of them have been here before, including their quarterback. Most of them have been here before for the Chiefs rather than the Eagles. How many of those guys for the Eagles were in the Eagles team in 2017? I don't know. I can't think of too many.
A handful, but they only got a handful of guys on their team that have Super Bowl experience. But I'm just going to say this. I'm taking the Eagles minus the 1.5, and that spread could be the Eagles minus 5, and I'd still take it.
Wow. Okay, that's a big call. Where do you think this is going?
5 to 7 point game, at a minimum. Eagles. And it would not shock me if the Eagles won by 10.
Yeah.
I think people really underestimate the fact that that Eagles team had 78 sacks this year. 78 sacks. That's ridiculous. That's not even counting the pressures. That D is coming. That D is coming for a beat up offensive line. Patrick Mahomes is going to be running. And if I'm Nick Sirianni, and I believe he'll do this, you chip Kelsey at the line and double team him. Kelsey don't beat you. You can't win.
Right. Okay. I think that Kelsey's proven before that he can win in those circumstances. Not as often as if you don't put him in those circumstances, obviously. But I think the other position that the Chiefs have over the Eagles is coaching. And the coaches have been there before. And I know that you like Nick Sirianni.
Nick Sirianni's offense is very, very he's always changing, always moving. He's a smart football dude and keeps people off balance. A lot of shifts get you moving one way, come back the other. I like it. And I would say that by the way I would play Kelsey, it's almost a triple team because you have your D-line chip him or your linebacker on the way to the quarterback, and you have a safety and a corner on top of him. I don't know, it's almost a triple team. And I'm like, everybody else can try to beat me, but I am not letting Kelsey beat me. And the Patriots, when they gave the Chiefs the most trouble, they doubled Kelsey all game long.
Yeah, double Kelsey, play cover 2, right? That's the way that people have combated the Chiefs. This Chiefs offense is different than what it's been before. This Chiefs offense is more X's and O's than Jimmy's and Joe's than it's ever been before. And I think that really helps them in a lot of ways, especially against the better teams like the Eagles as well. I think you're going to see a lot of quick passes from the Chiefs. I think their number one goal is to offset the Eagles sacking the Eagles sack rate, that Eagles defensive line. They need to offset that as best as they possibly can. Don't be surprised to see Pacheco early. I love Pacheco. I think he's going to turn into a really, really good running back this year, especially when he was picked in the 7th round or something. Great player. Another one of those guys that if this season went on for another 5-6 games, he might have forced his way into offensive rookie of the year. And they're going to use their gadget guys, like a lot of quick passes to guys like Juju. Is Ivan Toney in or out for the game? I know he was questionable.
I think he's playing. And also, them corners tackle, man, for the Eagles too. So your quick passes, I don't think they're going to work like they do. That rush, I think if the only way the Chiefs win is if Mahomes is the MVP and has an amazing game, because I think that defense is nasty and that offense for the Eagles is a machine.
Yeah, definitely. Their number one job is to stop the Chiefs defensive line. The Chiefs defensive line has played really, really good as well. Obviously, every offense's job is to stop the defensive line. I know that. It's a ridiculous thing.
No, I get what you're saying.
You get what I mean. Like when you play the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Eagles, you need to stop the defensive line. That's the most important thing. It's the same with the Chiefs as well. The Chiefs' back end is not as strong as their defensive line. You can definitely pass on the Chiefs. The Chiefs need to find a way to stem A.J. Brown. They need to find a way to stem Devontae Smith. They need to find a way to get to Jalen Hurts by only rushing 4, which is going to be really difficult when you have this offensive line in front of you. That is going to be a really, really difficult job to do. Plus, Jalen Hurts can run. So, I'm not sure how you stop that. Just in a shootout, if it turns into a shootout in the Super Bowl, you've been able to pass on the Chiefs towards the back end of the year. They've had quite a few injuries. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes, and I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Seeing in this game, if it's a shootout, I'm taking Hurts and that receiving core.
Yeah.
Hurts is a really accurate passer. I don't like people that not you, but people do not give credit to Hurts for how good he is in the pocket, how accurate he is with the football. And I just think they're all like, oh, Hurts runs the ball, and he gets discredited on what kind of pocket passer he is.
Yeah, I think what happens is because I was quite big on Hurts coming out. Actually, I was happy when they selected him, when the Eagles selected him, because I knew it would just cause shit in the Eagles offense with Carson Wentz and everything, and the Eagles just kind of fell off for a couple of years because of that. And I was like, great, awesome. However, I do really like Jalen Hurts, so I'm a bit worried about when the shit is sorted out. Jalen Hurts is going to come in. Jalen Hurts is a leader. Jalen Hurts. I don't think Jalen Hurts has been particularly inaccurate in his first year for a rookie. Like for effectively a rookie, he was in that first year. I thought he was perfectly accurate enough. Like I didn't think, and then he's come in with a better offense. And if you have AJ Brown, that's going to improve your accuracy a lot because you can just throw balls in the air to him and just he'll come down with them. I agree with you. I think because he runs, he gets discredited for his passing accuracy. I think people, since Lamar Jackson's come out, have said, but there's guys in the league said, these guys, they don't pass from the pocket. And it's like, hang on, like actually watch them. Like I think Jalen Hurts might be actually pass from the pocket a bit more than Patrick Mahomes because Patrick Mahomes destroys his pocket because he drops back so far. So he doesn't actually pass from inside the pocket.
And he's always moving side to side, even though he's not running. And I think something that Hurts was the way his college career went at the end. They act like he was damaged goods when I didn't see it that way when he transferred.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think transferring is a bad thing. I think transferring is a move that shows that you understand that you're not going to get in.
Like that, that you're going to be a 5th, 7th round pick or something like that. Yeah. So you go to another school, you prove it again, and then look, what was he? A 2nd round pick, third round pick, second or third? Okay, and now he got drafted high enough, got a chance, and we can say people can say whatever they want. The Eagles did not want Hurts to be the answer. They didn't. Mm-hmm. The way they handled him last year, you could tell they did not want him to be the answer. They were going to throw him out there, let him prove that he couldn't play, and move on. And that's not what happened.
Yeah, I love Jalen Hurts. It's a shame he plays for the Eagles because they're scumbags and I hate them. But it's a shame. It's the same with Daniel Jones. It's a shame that it's me who has to stand up for Daniel Jones all the fucking time as well. That's really annoying. But I get to see them the most. They like Jalen Hurts genuinely gives me fucking nightmares half the time, so that's great. But yeah, Jalen Hurts is a really, really great player. Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, though. We're agreed on that.
I mean, if you just took them off of teams and said who's better, yes.
Yeah.
But on the Eagles, I think Jalen Hurts this year is better than Patrick Mahomes is with the Chiefs, but it has to do with the cast too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And they've managed to build this team around him as well, which is
I don't think Jalen Hurts is that far off from Patrick Mahomes as a lot of people do, though. I think they're closer than people think and how good they are.
This year, definitely, but I feel like Jalen Hurts needs to Jalen Hurts has proved it this year, and he was
I don't think he's going to fall off, but I agree with you. You got to prove it.
I agree. I don't think he's going to fall off, but this high level of play has got to happen because that offensive line is getting old. Like people are saying, is this Kelsey's last year? I mean, they fucking picked Landon Dickinson, who's probably the best center in the draft as well. And the Cowboys need a center.
They have a backup lineman with 10 sacks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So these guys are getting old. So they do have a cast that's going to come up, but when these guys fall off, is Jalen Hurts going to be the same? Let's see. Is where I'm at.
If the Eagles start losing, they'll just send a Ndamukong Suh out and he'll stomp on Patrick Mahomes, and then the Eagles will win anyway. So
there we go. That's a good way to do it.
Any chance I can get to take a shot at Ndamukong Suh, I'm taking it.
I hate the Eagles. Sorry to any Eagles fans out there. You can see why I hate the Eagles. It's nothing personal.
I hate the Eagles because 2017 NFC Championship game.
Yeah. I think that's more personal. Eagles fans hate me too. So that's okay. But you actually hate them for a reason other than they're in our division.
Correct. It's because they whipped our ass in the NFC Championship game. And I'm sure every Eagles fan is okay with me hating them for that. They won a Super Bowl.
Okay. I have an interesting point of view because I've heard a lot of stuff this season about this particular question mark, right? Everybody's saying that the Chiefs are coming out of this ridiculously talented AFC, right? Oh, the Chiefs are better. They're coming out of this AFC and it's so talented. The conference is amazing. The NFC was better than the AFC this year. Am I delusional to this?
No, what happened is none of the AFC West teams lived up to the billing.
Yeah,
the Chargers.
And it's just the conference in general.
The Raiders were a letdown. The Broncos were a letdown. Yeah, I think it's because when you think Chiefs, you think Bills, you think Bengals, people are like, oh, they're like the three best teams in the league. But I think the Eagles could have ran with any of those teams too.
Yeah. But not just the Eagles. So the Eagles came through a division, the NFC East, that is historically.
I think the Bengals are overrated, though.
Yeah.
I think they're great, but I think people think they're good. People think they're great.
The Bengals to me are a few pieces off being great, right? And the Bills actually, if you look at the Bills' holes now, like the Bills have a lot of holes they need to fill. If you actually look at them.
Go look at stats over the last few years and look at the teams and like where they fall off. And I just want to point this out is Josh Allen's just a big version of Kirk Cousins who can run.
There's so many Kirk Cousins.
They lose the big games. They don't like Josh Allen doesn't always come through when people want him to, so that but he doesn't get the heat that Kirk gets.
Yeah.
And it's not a shot at Josh Allen. That's me pointing out to all the Kirk haters. You might really want to go back and look because it's a lot easier to get worse at quarterback than it is to get better.
Yeah, definitely. And if you go back to Philly, and I feel weird giving Philly compliments, I'm more talking the NFC is better than the AFC rather than giving Philly compliments. But to do that, I'm going to have to compliment Philly, which is hurtful. But the Eagles had to go through the NFC East, where every team in there had a winning record this year. All right. So the NFC East. They also had to go through the NFC, which has the 49ers in it, who would have kicked the Bills' ass. The Cowboys in it, who would have probably like the Cowboys. I would feel bad if the Cowboys didn't beat the Bengals. I would also feel a bit disheartened if they really didn't give the Bills and the Chiefs a good run for their money. With the Cowboys, the Vikings crazy in 7-point games stats and like actually playing really well, beat the Bills exactly. The Cowboys beat the Bengals as well this year. Just look at it and you're like, our worst teams would be your worst teams, our mid teams would be your mid teams, and our best team, our top three teams. Who are the top three teams in the NFC for you? For me, it's Eagles, 49ers, and then you can give me another one. I would go Cowboys in there.
With the Cowboys, I can't argue that. But what I would say is to the 49er fans, because I keep saying if Brock Purdy wouldn't have got hurt, I just gave Brock Purdy Rookie of the Year, okay? Mm-hmm. I like Brock Purdy. Eagles were still stomping you in that game before it was over with Brock Purdy.
Yeah, it just wasn't the right mesh. A better game would have been the Cowboys.
People don't get it.
Yeah. The Eagles are a really fucking good team. The Cowboys beat them in the regular season. We went 1-1 in the regular season, but
and that's weird because there was no full strength game again for you guys either.
Yeah, but neither side had a full strength team, so we don't really know what would have happened there. But if you look at the AFC, you have top teams in the NFC are Eagles, 49ers, and then probably the Cowboys, and then you have the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Bills, right? Which is what they're looking at there is because the NFC's quarterbacks were hurt, Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott, compared to Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. That's what they're looking at. But really, position for position, the NFC is better than the AFC, apart from in quarterbacks. It's just all the quarterbacks are in the AFC.
You're right. And everybody expected at the beginning of the year for all those teams we talked about to be better than they were.
Yeah. Yeah. If you put Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, or Joe Burrow, or Justin Herbert, or who else is over there in the AFC right now? Who else have they got? That'll do. Those four are a good enough example. And you put them on the Eagles, the 49ers, especially, the Cowboys, and the Vikings, right? They're four of the best teams that the world has ever seen if you put those quarterbacks in those teams. Whereas we're not sure the Chiefs are going to beat the Eagles when they have one of the guys who is legacy hunting to be called one of the best of all time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hurt some Baltimore fans' feelings, and I love Lamar. Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Lamar.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Lamar. Jalen Hurts is a better outright quarterback than Lamar. Lamar Jackson
And
is
I
a better,
love Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson's a better one-off weapon. Like Lamar Jackson is more likely to just go, yeah, I will just win this game by myself. Everybody just get out of the way than Jalen Hurts. But if you gave Lamar Jackson the weapons that they have in the Eagles, do you think he would have been able to use them as well as Jalen Hurts? No, I don't think so either. Also, Jalen Hurts is a better leader, which is becoming to look like more and more important in today's NFL, the leadership of quarterback.
Yeah, I know Baltimore fans will be in their feelings after that one, but I think Jalen is just on a rise right now as a quarterback, and sooner or later he's going to shut up all the naysayers, and the NFL is going to have no choice but to make him one of the faces of the NFL.
Yeah, can you just short stat for me? Can you just say that Lamar Jackson is better than Jalen Hurts? Give your reasons why for a quick short. Just do that and then put it on there, and we'll see how much hate you generate in a short space of time.
Oh, so you want me to say, Baltimore fans, I know you're going to be in your feelings, but Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Lamar. I love Lamar, but Jalen Hurts is better from the pocket. He's more accurate. And Lamar is faster, but Jalen's running is better. Jalen is a tank. Did you see what Jalen squats? Do you see his legs? People bounce off Jalen. I don't know, man. Jalen Hurts, stars rising. Jalen Hurts, going to be one of the faces of the NFL.
Perfect. Let's see how much hate we can get from Baltimore Ravens fans in the short space of time that
it ain't even just going to be Ravens fans. Dude, Cowboys fans are in those groups talking mad shit about Jalen.
That's just because Cowboys fans get everywhere and we hate the Eagles. But it's an irrational fear of the Eagles being great because they've been so shit for so long that they've all of a sudden become good, and it's just not feeling good to me. Like they were the last NFC East team to win a Super Bowl, and they're now going for their second. How dare they be good?
Oh, and since we talked about the awards, whichever writer gave Justin Fields a first place vote for MVP needs to get their vote taken the fuck away. And I've even seen Chicago writers say this. Take that fucking vote.
It was me.
It was me.
It
has to be a Chicago writer. It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, he does make the biggest difference on his team. He does make a huge difference on his team, but
the win-loss record made a huge difference.
Yeah, it's still not good enough to
make. What has he won? 5 games in his career or something? Come on now.
Still, yes, made a huge difference to life for the Chicago Bears. Still not good enough to make that roster look good. And still more, yeah, exactly. Every time he got into winning positions, yes, it was exciting, but he never got it over the edge. So I think MVP is a bit strong.
That writer should write an article about Bryce Young. That's what that writer should do.
Yeah. We'll have to talk drafts later. That's another.
I'm still on the fact that the Bears should trade Field and draft Bryce Young, but okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I love the Justin Fields to Baltimore and Lamar Jackson to the Bears. That would be fun.
Lamar to the Jets. I just thought of it.
Lamar to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Lamar to Detroit is the best fit.
All right. So
Still Baker.
This would
to
never
Detroit,
work
actually.
because Aaron Rodgers and Bill Belichick would probably get in a fist fight. But how about
Mhm.
Lamar to the Jets, Rodgers to the Patriots, and Mac Jones to Las Vegas?
That'd be fun. That definitely would be fun.
Jimmy G to the Bucks.
Yeah. Ravens now need a quarterback, though.
You run with Tyler Huntley and draft.
There you go. All right. That's good.
Because
you move up in the draft.
You're going to have to give up 3 first-round picks for Lamar. So you run with Tyler Huntley and then you draft because you played half the back end of the last 2 seasons with Huntley anyway.
Yeah, what you do is you get those 3 first-round picks in for Lamar Jackson and then trade them straight to the Bears to get up for Bryce Young.
Yeah, and even if you want, let Young sit for even half a year so he can catch the speed of the NFL. Yeah. Re-sign Huntley to an $8-10 million deal, $20 million deal, still be cheap, and
he actually looked good in
the young guy. Yeah, I think
he actually looked good in the
I don't
Pro Bowl,
think he's your future, but I think he could be your bridge.
Yeah, definitely. There's those guys on there where they're bridge, not like they're in those guys that are in between.
I think Tyler Huntley on like the Niners or the Jets would be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I like Andy Dalton as well as one of those guys that you can bridge over from person to person, and he'll show you how to be a great pro. I think it's in the Saints' best interest to keep him, to be honest, as well. But the Saints will probably look to draft somebody like a Will Levis where they're drafting. So yeah.
Rumors out there that the Raiders and the Saints already agreed on compensation, so now they're just waiting on Carr to agree to go.
I like it. I like that a lot.
If I'm Derek Carr, I do not go.
Yeah, I wouldn't either if I was Derek Carr.
Michael Thomas is out of there. Like, that's coming. Yes, Chris Olave is good. That offensive line was suspect at times last year. Alvin Kamara wanted to be traded at the trade deadline. Like, I'm not sure, and they're a ton over the cap. I'm not sure that's a team, if you're Derek Carr, you would want to go to. I think if I'm Derek Carr and Rodgers doesn't go to New York because I think that's their first pick, I hold out and see if I can get to the Jets.
It's bad for Derek Carr. It's good for the Saints, and it's good for the Raiders. The way that looks. The other team, like Derek Carr, should really be fighting to get to the Buccaneers, right? Is that not
Patriots?
Like the Packers works. Yeah, Patriots works too. But
I think he'd
Buccaneers
be perfect with Belichick.
And I think he'd be great with Belichick.
I don't think they like Mac Jones, and I don't think Mac Jones likes them.
No, and Mac Jones like switching around. Mac Jones needs to go to a different organization where he's more appreciative. I like a guy like Mac Jones to like stand up for himself and say, "You guys fucked me."
I got zero problem with it.
Yeah, like that's what's happened. He's come out and said, by hiring Matt Patricia as the offensive coach, you guys fucked me like from the jump. Like that's what he said.
And I think that was his way of saying, I'm not Tom Brady, and you're not going to abuse me in front of the whole team either.
Yeah, and he's also probably just gone, I'm not Tom Brady. Like in his mind, he's like, I'm not Tom Brady. I'm Tom Brady when he first stepped into the league. Just remember, you've got too used to Tom Brady just being able to fix all of your shit, right? But Mac Jones is real. Like, I'm there.
Mac Jones is probably better than Tom Brady when Tom Brady came into the league.
Yeah, just because of quarterback progression in that time in general, not necessarily that not necessarily all of that, but quarterbacks now are better.
He had more starting time in college behind a coach who believed in him. Brady didn't. Brady had to split time. Like that, there was a lot there. And Brady,
Michigan,
won a Super Bowl in his second year, but it was fueled by a monster defense, right? So I think Mac Jones is like, you're not going to treat me the way you treated Tom Brady.
Yeah, whereas Derek Carr will probably go in there and just be like, yeah, that's fine. Like Derek Carr is that guy. Like, there are different ways to work.
I don't think Rodgers and Belichick could get along. I think Rodgers would be like, who the fuck are you talking to like that?
Yeah, there's different ways to work. And Derek Carr can work in the way that Bill Belichick wants him to. And maybe Lamar Jackson can work in that way as well, actually, with Bill O'Brien, maybe.
Bill Belichick is the last coach in the NFL who's going to get away with coaching like that, too. No other coach coming forward is ever going to be the Bill Belichick type of coaching because players know their worth now, and fans can get mad because I keep seeing Well, tell this guy to take a pay cut to stay. Tell this guy to take a pay cut. And I'm like, you go to work on Monday and tell your boss you want to take a pay cut for the good of the company. Well,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
make millions. That's not the point. Like,
Yeah.
people are
It's
trying to stack
percentage.
as much cash as they can while playing professional sports.
Yeah, and it's percentage of earnings. Like,
Right.
that's what people don't get about sports a lot of the time. Like, people who don't know about sports always go, the nurses need to get paid the same amount as footballers. I fucking agree with you. In an idealistic, socialist world, I 100% agree with your premise. But unfortunately, that is not the world we live in.
The
And the
problem
world
is,
we live in is percentage of pay, like percentage of earnings. And the guy who, Tom Brady, earns Robert Kraft this amount of money, so therefore is worth this percentage of that amount of money.
plus it's not always, but half the time it's conservative saying crazy shit like, well, military guys should get paid more. Like, you're talking public money to private money, first of all. You're talking the government to billionaires. And the only place in America, at least, that capitalism truly works is professional sports. It's billionaires paying their employees millions to make them billions. It's the only place capitalism truly works in the United States.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, like, I'm not coming out there and saying, so in the UK it's a bit different because obviously the NHS doesn't make any money, so nurses' pay is different. But I don't know how it works. Like, in the US, do doctors and nurses earn the percentage of payment that the medical companies get from this? So I don't know.
This isn't always, but like, doctors are hired, but they're private businesses, so they pay. Like, the hospital doesn't pay the doctor's nurses. The doctor pays his nurses and hires his nurses and runs the practice. And I do know from this is just talking to a few guys throughout my life who were doctors. They make a couple $100,000 a year, right? The top surgeons and shit. So it's not like they're making athlete type money either. I get that. But again, you and I are like, you're talking private businesses on the difference of NFL owners make billions from the athletes and pay them, where yes, hospitals make billions and don't always pay it back. But that's my argument is this is where it's actually working is in pro sports, is that the owner has to actually pay a good percentage of the wages back to his employees, which is great for the employees. And I'm just saying, yes, I want all my favorite players to stay also, but you, as a fan, you can't be mad when they want to go for the money. Like, the money is like, people can say what they want, but yes, they love the game, but the money's why they're all still playing and they're 35 and things like that. You know, their bodies are killing them and they're still playing because of the money.
Yeah, and it's like, I like the whole idea of staying to win the title, getting your Super Bowl and stuff like that. But the thing that is guaranteed will happen that season is you will get paid for most players.
Every Tuesday for the 17 Super Bowl, or 23 weeks. Yeah. 23 weeks every Tuesday.
The Super Bowl is not guaranteed. The money is. So it depends who you are. It totally depends who you are. Tom Brady did it for the good of the game. He also used to be married to a fucking supermodel who would be able to pay for all of this shit as well.
I read something that Giselle makes like $54 million a year or something.
Yeah, like right. Like, I think the Brady family is gonna be okay, no matter what Tom Brady decides to earn that year. You know, whereas guys like, I don't know, like Lamar Jackson, for instance, who's in his pay dispute at the moment, the way he plays the game, he needs to know that he's going to get paid that money this year.
And it's the Browns' fault. Like, you paid Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that was fucked.
5 years, $230 guaranteed. Well, if I'm Lamar, I'm like, I'm an MVP. I've never been in trouble off the fucking field. Like, you're going to pay me guaranteed too. And I understand why he feels that way. And you can argue that they can or can't do it, or they should or shouldn't do it, whatever. But if you're Lamar, I absolutely get the argument that you should be making that kind of money.
Yeah, I wonder who is going to pay Lamar Jackson guaranteed money, though. Like,
I think there's 7 to 10 teams that would write a check as big as Deshaun's for Lamar.
I don't know. Like, just
If
Lamar
you
Jackson's
like,
injury issues is the problem, isn't it?
and especially if they put him on the transitional tag where you only give up 2 first-round picks.
Mm.
I think that somebody writes that check right away, gives up the 2 first-round pick, because no matter what, if you have a bad quarterback, he makes your team better. But Lamar also puts asses in the seats, which sells concessions, which sells jerseys, which, I mean, it's a business move too.
Yeah, but I read the other day that Dak Prescott is the highest selling shirt in the States right now. Or he's the highest selling shirt across a certain amount of states, which is pretty incredible, right? So that makes Dak Prescott's contract almost more worth it.
I just saw Bears fans trying to brag that Justin Fields outsold Aaron Rodgers. Well, because people have been buying Rodgers
in Chicago
for 16 years, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Yeah, there's also a shit ton more people in Chicago than Green Bay. That's not quite the same, you know.
Well, yeah, but like, it's just like, if you that's like saying Aaron Rodgers has sold more jerseys than Justin Fields in his career. It's not a fair comparison. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a fair comparison.
Yeah, people already have jersey sales. I wonder how much jersey sales impact owners' decisions. I'd be interested. But anyway, this is really getting off the topic of the Super Bowl. We've gone down a hole here.
And the players get shit money on their jerseys, dude. It's like 1% or something of the jersey sale.
Yeah, well, female athletes get none. So, like, let's highlight that.
They need a better union.
Yeah, they fucking do. You're right. Right? That's really fucking bad, right? But I love, so the arguments on both sides about female athletes, and this will take 2 seconds. Just give me a little bit of time, and then we'll go back to the Super Bowl and everything. But everybody's like, oh, female athletes should be getting paid equal. No, that's not right. That's not right either. What they should be getting paid is an equal percentage of earnings.
And the WNBA loses money, and the NBA subsidizes them every year.
Yeah, so it's like they should be getting paid a percentage. I hate people who come out and go, oh, well, less people watch the women's game, so they shouldn't be getting paid. It's like, yes, fine. Like, I agree with you, but what I don't agree with is the fact that they're not getting paid the same percentage of earnings as the men.
Well, we're gonna get Me Too'd for this, but I'm sorry. All the women who are upset about the female pay of the WNBA players, start supporting them and watching the games. WNBA. And go to the games, and they'll get paid more. And I get your argument, Maddie, but if they went by percentage in the NBA, the women would be paying the WNBA to be there.
Yeah, the NBA's the WNBA is a weird one. That's your own American crazy thing, right? Where what I'm more talking about is the WSL and women's soccer, which is like a pretty big deal, and they're starting to earn a lot more.
U.S. soccer, women's soccer doesn't get anywhere near the money the men do, and and they're actually
that's crazy.
Make more money than the men in the U.S. too, which is a weird thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of more what I'm talking about. But on international, in international games now in the UK, it's starting to become very even, because the government pay the wages of the teams over here. So the 2 Welsh teams, the women's and the men's, they both get paid the same game bonuses. I think Scotland's do as well, and I think England's on the way to doing it as well. So that's good.
Something crazy.
Go on.
The winning team of the Pro Bowl, which is the NFC, got a bigger win bonus than the winner of the Super Bowl will get today.
Wow, that's insane. That's bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. They get a bigger win bonus than the loser of the Super Bowl today.
Oh, right. Okay. That's still bad, because that's not fair, because the loser wasn't able to play in the Pro Bowl.
The winner of the Pro Bowl gets $84,000.
All right. Well, like, considering tickets are going for like $8,000, I feel like that's fair enough.
No, and I don't know why they just don't make it an even $100K for the winner and $50 for the loser. This weird, 42 and 84. Just stop.
It's percentage. It's definitely percentage based, isn't it? Everything that the NFL does is percentage based. Everything that the NFL does is on percentage. So like quarterbacks should really be dealing in quarterback contracts shouldn't be dealing in money, really. They should be dealing in percentage of cap.
And they also should have a different cap
for quarterbacks. Yeah. Or just a bigger cap, really.
Yeah, but if you do that, the same thing happens with the third quarterback. You start drafting somebody else. You start paying more money to a defensive end. To keep it so the quarterback does not run your cap out of whack, they should have a separate cap for the quarterback.
Yeah, and do it, or just do it on percentage as well. That would work.
Even if you do the percentage, if you made it so it didn't affect the cap, like it would, I think it would make, I think it would make more parity too, because teams wouldn't be like struggling so hard to get under the cap because they took a shot at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I also wonder if there's a way around the cap in terms of jersey sales, actually. So if you said to the historically big jersey sale teams, right, where their quarterback sells the jersey. So the Dallas Cowboys, the 49ers, the Giants, the Jets, for example, right? If you said to the quarterbacks of those teams, like if you said to Dak Prescott in his next contract coming up, if you said, we'll give you this percentage of jersey sales that we make, will you take less? Do you reckon that would go against the cap? Would it?
I think it would violate the rules though on pay of players.
Yeah, 100%. But NFL, come tell Jerry Jones that, you know? I would quite like to see Roger Goodell be like, oh yeah, Jerry, you're not allowed to give Dak Prescott this percentage of sales.
It's weird to me how fans want to protect billionaires' money all the time.
Yeah, blows my fucking mind.
It's crazy. Like they're worried about the owner's money. Like I am not worried about the Wills money. Spend it all. I don't care.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fucking start like putting like socialist symbols all over this podcast if we go any further. Because like in the UK, this shit isn't that bad to say. Wouldn't be considered that socialist. It'd just be considered a little left wing, right? But in the States, I worry for your safety, my friend.
See, but I balance a pretty good line between capitalism and socialism because I'm all for the capitalist system of make as much fucking money as you can off of these billionaires. I'm all for that. I also think that we have to make exceptions at certain times because not one thing can always be true.
Yeah, definitely.
More than one thing can be true at the same time, to quote Shannon Sharp.
That's a huge thing that we do on this podcast, by the way, everybody, that two things can be true.
Yes, the Patriots could pick a great guy and still have the wrong process.
Yeah, that's always, that's the Patriots right there. But yeah, anyway, back to the Super Bowl. Subscribe to us for all the stuff in the off season and for this year, especially if you enjoyed everything we did this year.
And we got some NBA. We got documentaries out. We got MMA Underground. And a big shout out to Street Beef Scrapyard, Street Beef's West Coast, Heart in the Fight, and most of all, Overtime Hustling. You have all been so great to us and had our backs through the whole ride. And we just appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Super Bowl winners for the last time, for me, Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, I'm taking the Eagles minus the 1.5, but my personal prediction is Eagles by 5 or more.
All right, mine's Chiefs by 2. There you go.
So you and Shug have the same. You guys are pretty much the same because Shug said Chiefs by less than 3.
Yeah.
Or 3 or less or something like that.
Yeah. Patrick, we should have preempted our awards for Super Bowl MVP.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown, like it. Oh, left field.
3 touchdowns, 122 yards. I don't know.
Okay. All right, Pat's going to throw for 330 and 4 touchdowns. There you go.
The most worthless thing you can ever do, predicting scores and outcomes, and I just did that. So
scores, over outcomes, under 50 and yardage.
Over under 50.5. That's the 50.5 is the over under. What do you got?
Wow, that's huge.
Well, it's 25.
But over.
And a half. Yeah, I got over.
Yeah,
also.
That's huge. But over. Yeah. I think the Chiefs are gonna do everything they can to turn this into a shootout.
All right. Well, we'll get out of here. Everybody's starting to perform before the game. We're about 15 minutes before the Super Bowl show starts and about half hour from kickoff.
All right. See you guys later. See you guys in the off season.
One last time. was the layover, not the music. So my bad. I didn't. The music threw me off. I thought that was this layover I have, but no, I hit the one with the music. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.